And welcome back to another episode of The Credit Authority. Once again, I am your host, Rhonda Kulch, and we always want to thank our sponsors. So once again, thank you to Equity First. If you are experiencing credit and or financial challenges and you are looking for somebody to speak with, consider reaching out to any one of their trained consultants. They could be reached at area code 631-714-4822. And again, we are continuing our show. We have our friend EJ Attina with Planet Home Lending, and we have now brought in another guest, old friend of mine. I don't even want to date it, but we have Ken Rubinetti, and Ken has been with LeTip for the last 25 years as the president of the Hauppauge chapter. So how are you? You're going to have to lean a little bit closer to the mic.
Good morning, Rhonda. Thank you for inviting me to be on today's show.
Yeah. So, today we are speaking about branding our business development, how we work hand in hand with building power teams. And I thought that it would be great to bring you on because you come from that, quote unquote, networking space.
Yes.
So we know that you are the president of LeTip. Why don't you start by explaining what LeTip is and for those that might be listening, how they would get involved?
Okay, thank you. LeTip, as you know, it's LeTip International, which is an international networking group. From here to California, we're based in Mesa, Arizona. We have 27 chapters on Long Island, and I am the president of the Hauppauge chapter at present time.
Now, when we're speaking with professionals, and again, we have EJ who has sponsored today's show, we're always talking about building our brand. So we obviously know that in LeTip, it is one person per category.
Correct.
And I'm sure you have a mortgage professional in that spot right now.
Yes.
How does somebody get involved if somebody like EJ said, hey, the market's off. I want to really do something for my centers of influence. I want to do something that nobody else is doing. Let me start a chapter. How does he do something like that? And what are the benefits to starting a chapter?
The benefits of starting a chapter, first of all, if you can't get into an existing chapter, you said there's one category per person, per chapter, they can contact me. I can help them start a chapter. And then when we could build from there, what is one category per person. And as you know, we do not advertise through LeTip. You are invited down to join our networking chapter or start a chapter.
So you'd come down, figure out whether or not the culture might be the appropriate culture for somebody to want to network in.
You will know we require you to come to 2 meetings. One, point that we get you, see if you're going to be a benefit for our chapter. And second, if we could benefit you by, joining our chapter.
Sure. So now, EJ, I'm going to throw it over to you. You obviously are a mortgage professional. You've been in the mortgage professional space for a long time. You're also, if I'm not mistaken, a licensed real estate broker agent. I don't know the right word to use there. And I know that you're an avid real estate investor. Mm-hmm. All real solid credentials for somebody to know about you. When you're in the market, and right now, as we would all agree, the market is definitely turned a little bit. Yeah. Interest rates have climbed, which I'm sure definitely hurts your mortgage business. Real estate inventory is at a standstill, which probably hurts your real estate business. Investors are being tighter as far as what type of project they're willing to get themselves involved in because the margins in a real short period of time can change. How important is it for you to learn about networking organizations and networking groups so that you have new blood?
Being a giver, I'm a giver. I like to give people everything that I can to help them feel more comfortable about possibly working with me. So, a networking event or networking organization is crucial. Getting your voice out there, meeting people, shaking hands, showing them what you essentially could bring to the table it's crucial in today's market because you could just reach so many people through networking events, social media, so forth, so on, and then putting, a face with a voice. That's crucial also because people gravitate to people of like kind. So I think that it's essential.
A lot of times when I'm out in the I don't want to say out in a networking group, but if I'm going out and I'm doing some business development, sometimes, it feels awkward, right? To walk into a place for the first time and not necessarily know somebody. So Ken, I'm going to bring this over to you. When somebody joins LeTip, I'm sure when they're walking into a room full of 30 or 40 new faces, what advice do you give to somebody that may have that little butterfly in their belly?
Okay, when you walk in the door, obviously when you walk into our meeting, we have a greeter that says, welcome to LeTip, and who invited you, we find out, or Rhonda so-and-so, thank you very much. And then we find out the category, and then what I immediately do is bring you over to your power partners. If you have a real estate, I bring you over to the real estate mortgage person, the real estate attorney, and whoever's, inspector, mortgage person, stuff like that. And this way we make you feel comfortable.
So that you're automatically, again, creating a sense of comfort by putting people together and grouping them together.
Right. Then each member also, whether I'm in your networking field or not, every member will go over to the guest. Welcome to LeTip. My name is Ken. How are you today? Mm-hmm. And my field is X.
I think what's also important that I've learned over the years is especially when somebody's in a field that is, I don't want to say has a decent amount of people, but right, loan officers, financial planners, real estate professionals, you go to networking meetings and I feel like you get a lot of the same type of person.
Correct.
Which is great if you're somebody like me and I rely on that as a source of business. But if you're a mortgage professional or you are a real estate professional, I think it's also important to identify up front what separates you. So if I'm speaking to you and I'm meeting you for the first time, EJ, what is it about you that makes somebody want to work with you over somebody else when you have 15 seconds to impress me before I walk over to the next person?
My niche product, the renovation mortgage, it's helped a lot of people over the last, I would say, 20 years or 15 years. When you take into consideration the housing market crashed in 2008, right? There were a lot of zombie homes throughout 2012, 2010. People didn't know what to do with those homes. They essentially didn't know, I have to have $150,000 to buy the home and then fix it up. No, the renovation mortgage is essential. And it's my niche product, and I love it because it's something that not many people know. So you'll walk into a room and you'll find mortgage professionals and, insurance people, inspectors, so forth, so on. And what I carve my way through is, essentially helping people understand that there is so much, there's a vehicle out there that can really essentially help them achieve home ownership when they look at something and they're like, oh, I walk away right away. They're scared. They run away from it. I say, run to it. But when I first walk in and I have that 15 seconds to grab your attention, it's, hey, my name's EJ. I do renovation mortgages. I do regular mortgages. I do real estate also. I find on-market, off-market properties. And that piques their interest when they hear things like that because they're intrigued about what is a renovation mortgage. Well, tell me about it. I walk into rooms and I'm not scared to be the only person to walk into a room. I did it last night. I did it, and believe it or not, people ended up gravitating to me. They heard what I do, and they ended up giving me cards. I must have walked away with 18 cards last night. I went to the Long Island Board of Realtors Fall Festival, and believe it or not, explaining what you do to people listen, they hear, they put their ear closer to you. It's great.
You became interesting.
Yeah. I'm very charismatic.
Yeah, you became an interesting guy. And I think what happens is, again, over time, and I've been out in the business community for a while. I mean, that's how I've met, both of you over the years. And I think it's safe to say that where we are in today's market, leading by who you are and what makes you different is so important. But understanding how networking works, I think, is critical because you can show up, but it doesn't mean that you're creating success if you're not delivering the right message about who you are. So with that, I know, Ken, I'm going to throw this back to you. You run LeTip, but that is not your paid job.
No, correct.
Tell us about what you do for a living.
For the past 47 years, I've owned and operated Frontier Exterminating, which is a full-service pest control company servicing Nassau and Suffolk County.
So here we go, creating a beautiful relationship with this guy over here because it's all about networking right here on Long Island News Radio, right?
Yeah, thank you.
So, again, when we tune in and we're listening to shows like this, we always want to deliver a message. And I think today's message for those listening is that you really need to learn how to network, how to identify who your power partners are, how to ask the appropriate questions about what makes you different than somebody else so that you understand how to stand out in relation to your competition, right? Yeah. So do either one of you have any last words before we head out?
No, Ken.
Well, I would just say as networking, as business owner, when you go to someone's house or place of business, you got to act and dress professionally.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Wear clean clothes, be clean shaved, haircut. And also, when you went to the front door, first thing I always do is present a business card.
There you go.
So they have a visual in their hand.
I think that's excellent. EJ, anything before we cut out today?
No, I agree with him. Being professional, looking the part, people take that into credit. A lot more credit than if you're walking up there and saying, hey, I want to buy your house with a hoodie on.
Yep, first time. You have one time to make one good first impression. So with that said, I appreciate everybody tuning in today, and you stay tuned for our next guest.